All right, welcome to Notes 2.7 Part 2. We're continuing with some of these problems. So this first problem, Gatorade recipe calls for 3 1/3 cups of water. But if LeBron wants to make 2 times the normal amount, how much water should he use? So obviously 2 times something kind of gives away what operation you're using. You're using 3 1/3 times 2. He wants to make double the recipe, right? So let's change this. Obviously stop. This has to get changed to an improper fraction first. So we're going to say 10 over 3 times, and this obviously is 2 over 1. Can I cross cancel anything? The answer in this case is no. So I go straight across, I get 20 over 3, which I need to change to a mixed number. 3 goes into 20 6 times with 2 left over. So he needs 6 2/3 cups of water. All right. Rob Gronkowski loves to eat and is making 6 batches of cookies. Each batch uses 4 2/3 cups of flour. How much flour does Gronk need? So think about it. One batch, each batch is using 4 2/3, but he wants to make 6 batches of cookies, right? So if I just made one batch, my answer would be 4 2/3. If I made 2 batches, it would be this plus 4 2/3, or this times 2, right? 6 batches, I want to say times 6, right? So again, change the mixed number to an improper fraction. Always, always, always when multiplying and dividing. That gives us 14 over 3 times 6 over 1, right? Can we cross cancel? Yes, we can. 3 and 6. 3 divided by 3, 1. 6 divided by 3, 2. Go straight across. So how many cups of flour does he need? He needs 28 over 1, or 28 cups, right? You are now going to go ahead and try and do these 2 problems, and I'll probably ask you about them in Ed Puzzle, right? So now let's cross over like John Wall and Kyrie do, and go from multiplying fractions to dividing. So remember, when we go to dividing fractions, we need to remember to flip the second fraction and then multiply across. So Mr. Mason bought an Xbox to school for A's and B's students to play. Yeah, right, like I do that. The academic day at CJ is 8 hours long. How many games can be played if each game lasts 1/4 hour. So we're saying 8 hours, and if one game lasts 1/4 of an hour, right? I'm asking you how many 1/4 hour games could you fit into this 8 hour day. So really we're dividing here, right? So we've got 8 divided by 1/4. So really can make that 8 over 1. First thing you want to do is flip. You say 8 over 1 times 4 over 1, and then multiply straight across. And so 8 times 4 is 32 over 1, which is 32 games. Now let's think about the reasonableness of this answer, right? So think about it. Just pretend you could only play for 1 hour. How many games could we fit in there? Well, 1/4, so that takes in 1, 2, 3, 4, right? We could pick 4 games in 1 hour, right? So if there are 8 hours, 4 games in 1 hour is 4 times 8, 32. 32 games, right? So Mr. Mason dedicates part of the bookshelf to store Xbox games for some reason. The shelf is 9 3/4 inches long. Each Xbox game is pretty thin. It's only 3/4 inch wide. How many games will fit on one shelf? Again, so I'm taking this idea. I have this shelf that's this long, and I'm having all these Xbox games, and how many can I fit in here, right? That's the kind of image that you're thinking of. So really, you're saying 9 3/4, and I'm saying, all right, divided by 3/4, right? How many of the 3/4 Xbox games can I fit in that shelf? So again, you got to stop yourself. You got to make sure that you change this to an improper fraction first, even before you flip, right? So it's going to be 39 over 4, still divided by 3 over 4, right? This whole flip part should be like its own separate step, so you don't ever forget it. So now it's 39 over 4 times 4 over 3, right? So then we're going to go ahead and say divided by 4 here. Both those become 1. And then here we can actually divide by 3. That becomes a 1, and that becomes a 13. So when I multiply straight across, I can get 13 over 1. So look at that. You can fit 13 games on the shelf. All right, one more. An Xbox weighs 10 3/5 pounds. If a controller weighs 1 1/2 pounds, how many controllers equal the weight of an Xbox? So it's almost like you have this scale here, right? Here's the Xbox at 10 3/5 pounds, and then we're saying how many of these controllers will be the same as the weight of an Xbox. So again, you can just divide 10 3/5 divided by 1 1/2. What do I have to do to both of these? Hopefully change them to improper fractions is what you said. 53 over 5 divided by still, that's 3 over 2. Flip the second fraction. We get 53 over 5 times 2 over 3. So now you're asking yourself, all right, is there anything I can divide by? And the answer in this case is no. There's nothing you can divide by. So you're going to get a pretty crazy number. It's going to be 106 over 15. And now use a reference sheet. Ask yourself, how many times does 15 go into 106? You put your finger on your reference sheet. You go across until you get to a number that's way too big. So 8 would be too big, so it goes in there 7 times. So 7 times 15 gives you 105 with 1 left over. So you could fit 7 1/15 Xbox controllers for the weight of one Xbox 360 or Xbox One or whatever it is. Sorry. All right, I'm going to put you in charge of that last Bronco one. Now, these last questions, sometimes they're not going to be super interesting, but sometimes they may look like the Terra Nova or Aspire questions, right? And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to, in partners, go ahead and try and figure these out. Now, you might not get to these today, and there's no video to necessarily help you out with them. This area problem is going to be 6 2/3, right? I give you the area, and I'm telling you, find me the width. So 1 1/2, right? It's like I have my area 6 2/3. I have this 1 1/2, and I'm trying to find this, right? You need to divide to find that. Same thing here. It's basically just the same problem, just repeated, right? 4 1/2 divided by 3 2/3. You guys can do these. I want you to try and make sure you get this done as much as possible. Whatever you don't do, make sure you do it because when I collect the binders, these should be done. All right, that's it.